to their concessions and work.
Principles for Ghana Cocoa Forest Red Plus program launched to create a more resilient cocoa sector.
10 Nigerian pirates sentenced to 12 years in prison.
And Tokyo 2020 Olympics officially opened.
Hello, good evening. Many thanks for joining us here on GBC News. We are also live on GTV as well as streaming live on our website at www.gbcghanaonline.com and on our social media handles as well. My name is Abdul Hayi Mumin.
Mine is Michelin Taka. To help us translate the news in sign language is Robert Frimpong Manso. You're welcome.
In our very first story, Norway's ambassador to Ghana, Mr. Ghana Andres Holm, and Spain's ambassador to Ghana, Madame Alicia Rico Perez del Pelga, have wrapped up their duty tours of the country. The two envoys were at the seat of Ghana to thank President Akufo-Addo and bid a formal farewell to Ghanaians. We'll bring you full details of that story subsequently in this bulletin. But in other news, small-scale miners
back home for reassignment. The diplomat who has served in Africa for the past 20 years heads to Nairobi, Kenya as his next duty post.
I think I could say that I leave Ghana with a very good feeling that I have done whatever I could and we could and what my embassy could do to strengthen these developments. We have seen the establishment of a Ghanaian embassy in Oslo.
President Akufo-Addo lauded his effort at stepping up economic relations between Ghana and Norway and called for political framework to promote political discussions between Oslo and Accra. Your period as ambassador here, a very dynamic period in the relations between our two countries. And a lot has to do with you and the role that you've taken. You are deeply involved in the affairs of our continent. It's now, some 10 years since you came. It is getting on for, I believe, 10 years since you came up, apart from the enhancing of the political work. I don't think we still have a formal vehicle for political consultations between Norway and Ghana. It's being developed. I think that is something that in your party notes you have to leave to your successor, that he develops as quickly as possible so we can have these periodic formal engagements. Next was Spain's outgoing ambassador to Ghana, Madame Perez del Pelga, who has also ended her 4-year duty tour. She assured that Spain will remain steadfast in support.
You can count with Spain as a solid partner, Your Excellency, as a true partner for Ghana. West Africa is a strategic sub-region for us. We are very close neighbors, only 14 kilometers away from this continent.
You've done a good job for your country in coming to promote the interests of Spanish companies, Spanish interests in Ghana. We appreciate very much your stay here and the work that we have been able to do together. President Akufo-Addo praised the outgoing ambassador for being active in promoting relations between Ghana and Spain.
Small-scale miners with the requisite licenses and permits can go back to their concessions and work, but they are expected to do responsible mining to avoid arrest, closure of their concessions and withdrawal of their licenses. The Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources in charge of mining, Mr. George Mreku Duka, gave the green light when he met with the Ashanti chapter of the Association of Small-Scale Miners in Kumasi.
On April 29, 2021, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources ordered the military to halt small-scale mining in the country, considering the damage that it was causing to the environment and water bodies and consequently human life. In the said operations, code-named Operation Halt, small-scale mining activities were stopped and the mining equipment were also seized and destroyed. This was after some early operations had failed to achieve a similar purpose. While some small-scale miners operate legally or according to the laid-down procedure, others do it illegally and in a manner that is destructive, a practice commonly referred to as galamsey, or gather them and sell. At a meeting with the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources in charge of mining, Mr. George Mreku Duka, the Vice President of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners, The Ashanti chapter, Mr. Samson Kofi-Redu, was concerned about the level of harassment that they face from members of the Operation Halt team. The Ashanti Regional Chairman of the Association, Mr. Frank Osei, assured the ministry and government that they would comply with the mining regulations. The Deputy Minister clarified that government had not banned small-scale mining in general, but is against illegal and irresponsible mining. He noted that it was becoming worrying the rate at which the environment was being disdainfully degraded by illegal miners. Mr. George Mirkuduka said government recognizes the immeasurable contribution of small-scale mining to the growth of the economy, but it is extremely important to streamline mining operations.
If you have a concession, and if I say you have a concession, I mean licensed concession, that concession, your license must be displayed. There must be a signpost that will display your license. One, you must have an office, you must have a first aid center, and you must follow all protocols as far as mining is concerned.
An award scheme is to be instituted for small-scale miners to ensure sanity in the sector.
Plans are underway to reduce landscape emissions and restore the integrity of the country's depleting forest cover. Dubbed the Ghana Cocoa Forest Red Plus program, the initiative intends to create more resilient cocoa sector and help reduce climate change while linking economic development to afforestation. GBC News' Clara Mlano was at the launch in Accra. Subsequently, but in other news, the Free Senior High School and Ghana School Feeding Program will now add textured protein to the meals served to students and pupils in public sector schools. A campaign tagged Go Soya has been launched to promote the eating of textured protein in schools. Partners believe this will improve on the protein quality of foods consumed by school children and also help the caterers to save costs.
A study carried out by the World Food Programme proved that the benefits of school meals promote healthier life, improve learning, increase productivity, gender equality and value transfer among the children. The view is that school meals must be nutritious and affordable, yet most school feeding programs lack these benefits. To ensure meals served meet these criteria, the government, through the Free SHS Secretariat, the Ghana School Feeding Program and the National Association of Domestic Beggars and Matrons are working with the American Soya Bean Association and World Initiative for Soya in Human Health to add textured soya protein or soya, a plant source of high protein, to the meals for students. The coordinator of the Ghana School Feeding Program, Madam Gertrude Kwanzaa, believes adding textured soya will make food served under the Ghana School Feeding Program more nutritious.
GSFP is satisfied with incorporating soya chunks in meals for our pupils for its nutritional potency, relatively cheap cost, ease of usage, and ease of storage, and less bulky. So far, we have not received any complaints of allergy by caterers or school authorities alike.
To the American Soya Bean Association, textured protein or soya is the best protein to help kids stay sharp and positively affect how their brains develop into the future.
Soy has very good and higher protein comparable to many protein alternatives. It's also cheaper. For instance, 100 gram, 1 kilo of soy chunk TSP can feed 100 people and deliver to them 40% of their daily protein requirement. It's affordable, it's cheaper, and if you are talking about institutional feeding, school feeding, secondary school feeding, hospital feeding, prisons feeding, colleges and all, the alternative to go for of choice is texturized soy product.
Health experts score textured soya protein as rich in vitamins, minerals, insoluble fiber and essential amino acids, ingredients which are essential to early childhood development.
Poultry farmers in Ghana are uncertain whether they will be compensated by the state should they lose their birds in the wake of the avian flu disease outbreak. They are also concerned about high costs of poultry feed, which translates into prices. The poultry farmers were speaking to GBC News after a business and farm management training organized by the Korean Program on Agriculture and CSIR Animal Research Institute at Frafraha near Accra. Napoleon Atukitu has more.
The South Korean government, as a development partner to Africa, keenly focuses on food security on the continent, many describe as the future. The Korean Program on Agriculture, KOPIA, is the conduit for channeling technical support for African countries. Based on its findings that the poultry subsector in Ghana faced severe challenges, KOPIA, in conjunction with the CSIR Animal Research Institute of Ghana, organized a training in poultry management for industry players. The event sought to prepare the trainees on ways of improving their stock, both quantitatively and qualitatively, so they are able to navigate the business chain successfully. Dr. Kim Chung-ho is the director of the KOPIA Ghana Center.
For poultry farming, their incomes very much increased. They have a lot of capacity, potential to increase the income from poultry farming. Right here in Ghana, the productivity of poultry farming is very low. It's not comparable with other countries. So we have to train the farmers.
On the sidelines of the training event, some of the poultry farmers raised some concerns about the local poultry industry. They were Berima Abebio Hesse and Mr. Lawrence Agozo.
The main issue is what is happening on the poultry sector now, the scarcity of inputs or ingredients in getting us to compound our feed and feed to the animal. We buy it at very high cost.
Next time we want to export our food to other countries, we should make sure that we have enough for ourselves in the country. Because last year, people came from Mali and Niger to buy large stocks of maize and took them away. After that, from the maize which were selling around 70 cedis, 60 cedis around June, by November has gone to about 90 cedis, 100 cedis, 120. And it has since remained. Now it's selling at 150.
Experts from the CSIR Animal Research Institute of Ghana sought to anchor the poultry farmers from the technical point of view, reinforcing the solutions envisaged from improved methods. The training topics included feeding and hatching technology, selection of high-yield breed, disease management and vaccine handling, and running poultry as a business. The CSIR says that it will endanger attempts at conserving local genetic resources if Ghana allows unrestrained flow of local breeds in exports. The council prefers hybrids which introduce new genes in local breeds for improved performance. It has in stock day-old broilers for domestic and commercial interests. Napoleon Atukitu reporting.
We'll take you back to an earlier story where we told you about plans that are underway to reduce landscape emissions and restore the integrity of the country's depleting forest cover. Dubbed the Ghana Cocoa Forest Red Plus program, the initiative intends to create a more resilient cocoa sector and help reduce climate change while linking economic development to afforestation. GBC News' Clara Mlano was at the launch here in Accra.
As at 2016, Ghana's total land, forest and agriculture sector emission levels stood at 22 million tons of carbon dioxide. The figure seems insignificant compared to countries contributing to CO2 emissions. Experts are therefore working to reduce the steady rise in Ghana's emissions levels using the topmost emitting countries as a case study. Ghana, an agrarian economy poised to increase production and growth, is challenged, with agriculture identified as a major driver to deforestation aside illegal logging. depleting the country's remaining 1.7 million hectare closed forests. As at 2020, Ghana's forest cover stood at 6.57 million hectares. The principles for the Ghana Cocoa Forest Red Plus program is therefore to reduce deforestation and forest degradation.
The engagement principles comprise 10 unique steps designed to support stakeholders to engage effectively within the context of the GCFRP implementation.
We are linking the protection and then the plantation to economic development. So for the share landscape area, we are linking cocoa to forest. So for instance, every cocoa farmer is expected to plant a minimum of 18 trees per hectare in his farm. So that is cocoa. The second one is the share landscape, where we are moving to the savanna zone area to link share to planting of trees.
For Cocoa Board, implementation of the program comes at a right time when the sector is under surveillance to export cocoa beans from only permissible forests.
Now consumers of cocoa are asking us to do what we call due diligence. The due diligence means that they want the address of every bean that goes into production of chocolate. We are bound to ensure that we are doing the right things and that we can continue to sell the produce. Otherwise, the farmers will produce cocoa and nobody would want to buy the cocoa.
ProForest, co-financier to the document, is resolute to assist Ghana manage her natural resources.
There are two ways to address that. One is to find a way to address the deforestation and degradation of the remaining forests. The second one is to identify the very degraded areas and try to restore them through artificial regeneration or natural regeneration where it's possible.
Stakeholders believe that effective implementation of the principles of the Ghana Cocoa Red Plus Forest Program will ensure environmental sustainability and help achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 13 of combating climate change. For GBC News, Clara Mlanu reporting.
The Minister for Trade and Industry, Mr. Alan Chematin, says the Komenda Sugar Factory will resume operations before the end of this year. The Minister, who was answering questions on the One District, One Factory project in Parliament, said a Ghanaian Indian company, Park Agrotech Ghana Limited, is working to meet the deadline to revamp the factory.
I rise to ask the Minister for Trade and Industry why Komenda Sugar Factory is still closed and what has happened to the strategic investor the country was promised.
The Ministry of Trade and Industry, working in collaboration with its transaction advisor PricewaterhouseCoopers Ghana Limited, is in the process of concluding the conditions precedent for the activation of the concession agreement with a selected strategic partner, Park Agrotech Limited. Park Agrotech Limited is an agro-processing company based in Ghana who, together with its technical partner based in India, have significant expertise in the sugar cultivation and processing industry. Park Agrotech has applied for and has been granted 1D1F status by the ministry. This will enable Park Agrotech to take advantage of the incentives and benefits as approved by Parliament for 1D1F registered companies. I have instructed the transaction advisor and Park Agrotech to ensure that the conditions precedent to the concession agreement and the roadmap for the opening of the factory is finalized by the end of August this year to enable operational activities as the factory commence before the end of the year.
How sure is it? We need a specific date because the previous date is gone.
Yes, Honorable Minister, your first date has elapsed. So how sure are we?
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure. But Mr. Speaker, for the avoidance of doubt, in my earlier presentations to this August House, I explained the chronology of the development of this transaction.
The founder and chief executive of the Atamils Institute, Mr. Koku Anyidoho, has called on the government and the legislature to pass the necessary amendment bills that will facilitate a review of the 1992 Constitution. An intended review of the Constitution, according to Mr. Koku Anyidoho, was part of the vision of the late President, Professor John Evans Atamils. He made this remark at the Atamils Institute's second anniversary lecture in Accra. It was on the theme, 9 years on, entrenching a solid legacy.
The abuse of social media is a major issue, all contained here. And if we had agreed and the bills had been passed and the amendments had been done, we would have long gone past this post. The issue of emoluments, today, that has become a major issue. This is here. It's in the white paper. So, instead of it being reserved for maybe only Article 71 office holders, every time there's a commission that is set up, and it's not only one government, from the days of Jerry Rawlings. Now, what this thing would have cured was that there will be an establishment of an independent emoluments commission that no president can touch. And it will take care of all public sector workers. So, the man foresaw that one day we'll hit this iceberg. And what we are doing as an institute is to let Ghanaians know that, yes, President Mills is not with us, he's dead and gone. But this document is not dead. And the Constitution is a living document. Let us begin to look at it again for it to help us and serve us well. Of course, another interesting aspect of the recommendation which was accepted was the issue of politics and politicization. We foresaw that we wake up one day and everything will be drowned in politics. And that's where we are. You can't have a discussion now without it being politicized. So criminals are hiding behind politics. Bad people hiding behind politics. Once he gets into trouble, he belongs to one political party. Let's pass the necessary amendment bills and get the Constitution re-looked at. And that's the point we are making.
A befitting farewell to a man described as God-fearing and hard-working, the remains of the late former National Security Coordinator and Chief of Defense Staff, Lieutenant General Joshua Hamidu, have been interred at the military cemetery in Accra. President Akufo-Addo, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, former President John Mahama, and Liberia's Vice President Joel Taylor commiserated with family, friends, and other sympathizers at the forecourt of the State House. The late consummate Lieutenant General of the Ghana Armed Forces passed away at age 85.
He was born in September in 1936 in Sunsong in the Yindi district of the Northern Region. Lieutenant General Joshua Mahamudu Hamidu's educational work started from the Eastern Dagomba District Council Primary Boarding School in 1942. He was the son of the then Sunsong Hamidu Dramani and Princess of Gushewu Senatu Idi. Born into the Muslim faith, Lieutenant General Hamidu converted to Christianity after encountering some missionaries of the Assemblies of God mission, after which he was baptized. The old student of Tamale Secondary School cut his teeth for career in the armed forces at a regular officer training school at Teshi in Accra, and had a further training at British Mons Officer Cadet Training School in Aldershot, UK's premier regular officer training academy at Sandhurst, and British Staff College in Camberley, among others. In 1976, he was promoted to the rank of Major General and appointed to set up and be the first commandant of Ghana's Command and Staff College. After holding top-notch positions in the Ghana Armed Forces, Lieutenant General Hamidu was seconded to the Foreign Ministry and appointed Ghana's ambassador to Senegal, the Gambia, and Mauritania from 1972 to 1975. In 2001, he was appointed the National Security Advisor by former President John Ejikun Kufuor and Ghana's High Commissioner to Nigeria in 2003. Tribute from his widow, family, the Ghana Armed Forces, and the state attest to the fact that this great statesman had the interests of the nation at heart.
You are a source of strength to me, and I am so grateful for your invaluable input as we raised our children, forever present and attentive, guiding and supporting them through choices and decisions like any good father would.
The late General Hamidu
was an astute general in the treasured honor roll of the Ghana Armed Forces, who served the colors with the utmost diligence, unparalleled dignity, hallowed pride for 21 years.
For a long time, he was the head of military intelligence MI in Ghana Armed Forces. He was therefore regarded in the military community as the grandfather of military intelligence in the sub-region.
In a sermon, the presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, Most Reverend Dr. Paul Boafo, said the late Lieutenant General was a gift to the nation, one whose life testified of good deeds.
Though we have lost a statesman, we can say that we have been made richer by the life he lived amongst us. That is why we can praise the Lord like Job did.
The late Lieutenant General Joshua Hamidu is survived by his wife and 7 children.
Well, there is a long list of places named after people, and in the Upper East region, many communities are either named after the first settler or the main challenge confronting the community. In the case of Bio, in the Bongo district of the Upper East region, the community is called Bio, which literally means waterlogged area. Bio is known in the Bongo district for its numerous streams, valleys and rivers with no properly demarcated road. It is difficult to get to Bongo, the community's district capital, and Bogatanga, the regional capital. Correspondent Samuel Ayama has just returned from Bio and he has brought us the story.
What's in a name? On GBC News.
Bio hosts one of the popular markets in the Bongo district and the Upper East region, the Akayonga market. It was named after one man who is the brain behind the Bio market. Depending on how you navigate your route to Bio from Bogatanga, the Upper East regional capital, or Bongo, the community's district capital, it is an approximate 45 minutes drive. The origins of the people of Bio is traced to Nalerigu, the capital of the Northeast region and the current seat of the overlord of the Mamprugu traditional area. The founder of Bio is Atinga Yariga, who migrated from Nalerigu to settle at the present-day Bio. Atinga Yariga's 3 sons, Adam Sia, Asegere, and Alarebono, form the 3 clans or the gates in Bio. After the death of their father, Alarebono became the first chief of Bio. Bio is bordered by Congo in the Nabdam district, to the east, Bongo Soy, to the north, Dua, to the west, and Zwarungu Moshi in the Bogatanga East district, to the south. Naba Bio Malialek Tambi Soklebuk Salama is the chief of Bio.
Bio means waterlogged area. We don't have bridges, we don't have culverts, especially the streams. And then the main river that we lost so many people. Death has occurred here, and the major river is reached, but not satisfactorily.
The people lack basic social amenities. Residents complain of poorly demarcated roads connecting them to Bongo, the community's district capital, and Bogatanga, the Upper East regional capital. With the onset of the rains, a number of bridges and culverts on the roads have either collapsed or at the verge of doing so. Communities in the Bio traditional area without proper roads include Tankon, Lambisi, Bioboken, Bio Nayiri, and Moshidaboro. Facing the same problem are Atonobogro, Sapporo, and Kombosiko. Mr. Emmanuel Akolgo is the assemblyman for Bio Tankon electoral area.
We don't have any clear-cut route that can lead us to the Bongo district, our capital district. We don't have any route that can lead us to the regional capital, Bogatanga.
The only footbridge that connects most of the communities collapsed in 2014 and remains in the same state. All efforts by the local authorities to fix the footbridge have not succeeded. It is difficult for pupils to go to school when it rains. The news team was told that some have lost their lives in such circumstances.
This particular footbridge, 8 people from Bina Yide, Bitankon, Kantia, Dua, a lot of communities. And then we have a major market here. It's one of the popular markets in the Bongo district, Akayonga market. And whenever it rains, we cannot cross.
The problems at the popular Akayonga market include inadequate summer huts, potable water, toilet facilities, and space. The basic schools have inadequate infrastructure and furniture.
Staffing too is a problem. That's why it's a combined class. Staffing is a problem. We lack teachers in the school. We also approach the government to help us.
Most of the communities in the area are yet to be connected to the national grid. The Wagliga Chiefs compound is the only health facility serving almost all the communities in the Biu traditional area. Award-winning investigative journalist Manasi Azuri Awini and GBC's late Upper East Regional correspondent, Mr. Alex Timba, are from Biu, popularly known as Akayonga. Samuel Ayama, GBC News, Biu.
You're watching News Hour live on GBC News. Are you wondering why we are in T-shirts today?
I'm all geared up in my Olympic Games Tokyo 2020 T-shirts. It's sponsored by Decathlon, and they are our sponsors for the Olympic Decathlon. You know Decathlon, of course. And this is because GTV Sports Plus will be bringing to our viewers exclusively all the Olympic Games. And you recall that we brought you a story earlier in the day that told you about the fact that the opening ceremony has been done. Every detail of the Olympic Games will be right, and that's why we are in our T-shirts. Of course, mine is branded, Mine
is branded to Michelin.
We'll be back after